hope people are coming in. I'm going to start because I have 1 hour and then I must finish this. I'm going to make this card today. I prepared one yesterday, so I'm going to make this one. This is a Lavinia card with Lavinia stamps, and I show you how I made it. So I put that aside. I have a regular watercolor card. It's a A6 card. So I'm not going to make a big project. I'm going to make really a card. I'm used to make bigger projects with Lavinia stamps, but lately I make cards with them, so I can send them. The big projects I put in my journal, and the small ones I can send if I want. So what I'm going to do is I take my stamping platform. Put this card away. And there I have some sticky grit on it. I like to use the sticky grit instead of the magnets. So. And then I'm going to start with this beautiful stamp. It's called May. It's a strange thing that no one is looking, but I cannot do anything about that. I don't know if it's my fault or people are searching me otherwise. Now I see one person is looking again. Strange, strange, strange. I stamped this one with Versa Fine Clair Nocturne. And then I use my stamp. It helps me to put pressure on the stamp, and especially because I work a little bit far away from me, so normally it's a little bit closer to me. I must stamp it another time. It's not black enough for me. This is my first time in this group, so I had hoped there were many people to look. I must do it another time. That's why I use the stamping platform. And then I push a little bit harder. So yes, now it's black. I hope you understand all my English, because I'm a Dutch girl, so I speak a little bit Dutchy English, I call it. And then I'm taking these two fairies. They are called small pixies. And one of the pixies I would like to have on her hand. So I must put that. I think this is the correct place, and the other one I place it a little bit in the air. So. David, are you still looking? Can you see if everything is correct? Because I'm doubting myself if I've done everything well. Small ones I can do with my thumbs. One time, and then they are black enough. So I made them clean right away because they are very how do you say that, they have very fine lines and I don't want to mat them with the ink. So and then the small haze called Pippin Mini. Place a little bit higher. Pippin is once and then is correct. Then I have 3 hazes, hares, so they're called Wild Hares set small, and I picked also one of these because he looks just the other side. I want him not at the same height as the other one. Now I put it off the stamping platform. I do my paper on it so it's not going to get this, how do you say, dust. Stays clean. Then you can do a very long time with it. So I'm going to dry a little bit because the Versafine Clair Nocturne is not drying very fast. So I give it a little bit with the heat tool. Sorry for the noise. bit on the back. So, I think it's enough. So, then I'm going to start with the Elements ink. Elements ink is a premium dye ink pad. It's a water solution, so you can always use some water with it. And then I'm going to take my yellow Lavinia stamp brush. I always do a little bit in the lid, I think you call it. And then I want, on a special place, some yellow. I always turn my brush right, then left, so I have all the ink of it on the paper. I really do think there's a strange thing is going on because no one is coming in my life. I must look if I didn't. No. And a little bit more yellow. Someone is looking. But who is looking? David, is it you that are looking, or is it Fiona? So, then I take my other brush, the orange one, for my orange ink, and this is the russet orange. And I go a little bit around the edge here. I turn my work so that you can see it better. And I'm going to go not straight, I'm going to make a line here. On this side, and I do that also on the other side. I want the edge a little bit darker. Then I take my yellow brush again, And I'm going to put a little more yellow here. And mix it a little bit with orange. So. Then I'm going to take my green ones and I start with the lime punch. And I take my green brush. Oh well, I make it clean first because there is a lot of orange now. So that's better. You always start at the side of your card so that you don't get hard lines in your work. This is the first color, green, but I think it's too light, so I take another one. And you see I mix it always with the color above, so with the orange, so that it's going to float in each other. Then I take, the pine, and I'm going to go a little bit, not so far, around the edge, and on the bottom I make it a little bit darker. A little bit more here. And that I do also in the orange a little bit. So. And now I made my simple background. Looks like there's some white as you see it in the picture, but there's no white. Maybe I can show it a little bit higher. There you see it's all orange and green. Now I want the flowers lighter, so what I do is I take a little cup of water, I take a kitchen cloth, and I'm going to pick it up because it's water-based, you can do that. You can also use bleach, but bleach is, yeah, you must be very careful with it. And this also works. I think you see it become a little bit lighter. Then I make it all wet. And then I dab my kitchen cloth in it. And that takes also some ink. I do that with all the flowers. So all the flowers I'm making a little bit lighter. I think they are light enough, maybe here above a little bit. And you can use the water because the Elements ink is water-based and the Very Fine Clair is not water-based, so you don't mess with your other stamps. Then I make it a little bit dry. And then you can see, I think it's lighter than the rest. See? Then I have, you can use, I used the Elements ink now, but you can also use the Distress ink or the Oxide Distress. That's what you have. Now I'm going to color my flowers, and I'm coloring my flowers with the Zicht Clean color aquarelle, and that is the Scarlet Red, the yellow, and the red one. And I start with the yellow. You color first the whole flower, and don't forget this part, Marga. Yesterday I forgot that part. I do flower for flower, then I take the orange one, and that was the Scarlet Red. And I put a little bit of Scarlet Red. I hope you can see it. So, then I take a little bit of the darker red, only at the bottom. And then I take my yellow again, and I smudge my colors to the top, not to the whole top, because then the flower is whole orange. Then I go from top to bottom, so I go back. I think it's a nice one. I must only, yesterday I forgot that part also. So it's a small part here, and that may be a little darker. I have 3 views now, but I see no comments, I see nothing. I don't know what I did wrong. So I'm going to work and finish my card, and then I'm going to look what I did wrong. Otherwise I think it's gonna be a mess if I stop it and it started again. First one flower and then the second flower. I do the same again here. You see that this flower leaf is before that one, so after this one I must make a little bit shade. Then the darker one, only at the bottom. For the people who are here, as you have questions, please ask them. That's why I'm going live here, so we can interact together. Then I go from above to below again with the leaves. The last flower. So. That's the orange one. You can do also this with pencils if you like. This is going quicker, but I love to do it also with pencils. So, I make this brush a little bit cleaner so the orange part is gone. Then I have a brown one, yes. I do the stem of the flower. Really careful because it's a small stem. Take a nip of my drink. What was next? Okay. I have, where do I have it? I had it. I have here a Darren Intense pencil willow. I'm going to do some ground under the hares. With that, I did that with the card I did yesterday before I inked the rest, but that I was forgotten. Then here I make also a little, how you call that, yeah, little thingy where the flower is coming out. And because it's Distress Intense, you can water it out. When it's dry, it's not fading out anymore. You can make very nice things with the Distress Intense, but you can use all watercolors you have. But I think these ones must have a bottom under them, the dark shade. So. Then what was the next step? Then I'm going to, yes, what was I'm going, then I'm going to glitter. I have here a jelly roll and I have a orange one, a glitter. This one I did with the yellow, and I think today I do the orange glitter, because that must dry a little bit. I start with this. I think it's also a nice color to do, because there is orange in the paper, and I like to do almost everything in the same color range. What I forgot was to dry my work again, because gel pens and Posca pens, they do not well on ink and paint that is just made. You must wait 24 hours before you use the pens, but in a live I have no 24 hours, and I do mostly heat gun them. That's not solving the problem, but it's solving it a little bit when you heat gun it. But the paint and the ink destroy your gel pen. So I have a lot of gel pens that don't work anymore, and that's because I forget to heat gun it before. And as I say, it not helps it to do with everything, but it helps a little bit if you heat gun it before, so that paint and the ink is a little bit drier. I didn't know that first, that works that way, but I was mad because always my jelly roll and my Posca don't work. So I was looking what I'm doing wrong. That's the problem. But as I said, in a live you don't have the time to let it dry. I see a question. What's the glitter pen you use? I used a jelly roll from Sakura. I have them bought in a set with all colors. I don't know, I think 12 colors. Let's look if I have the right. Yes. VSS 12. It's from Sakura jelly roll. They give a very fine glitter. Now, I have used there the orange one, and in the flowers and the top I used the yellow one. A little bit in the top. Fine, you found me, Marion. I have not many viewers. I don't understand what the problem was, but someone found me. Yeah. So every leaf, a little bit at the top of the leaf. And I'll show you the glitter when I'm finished. It's a very fine glitter, and this jelly rolls works all the time. I don't know if you can see it. I must hold it up a little bit. And then I have, no, it's always a thingy to show it to you. Yes, now you can see it. Then the next step is I'm going to stamp some flowers, and I do that with a Silhouette Floliage set. And I use only this one. And I use some masking tape. And I think here is the right place. Is the glitter dry? Otherwise I do it again. And I think here, so. Yes. Then I take my acrylic block, I had it here. Time flies, I see it's already late. How did, oh, I used the green. Yes, I used the green. The Versified Claire Shady Lane I used. I give the flowers another color later, but I start with the Shady Lane green. So. I do it another time. Then I'm so, and also at the other side. Let me take it a little bit higher, this one. Yes, I think a small, very small point here also. So, clean my stem first. Take this off, and it looks really weird now because it's so straight, but I'm going to take my Distress of my Intense pencil again, and I do that on both sides. So. A little bit between the green . My neighbor is burning his how do you say, uncried wheat, I believe, and I don't like the smell of it, I must say. So now it looks like you have a depth in it, and if I want to make it a little bit darker, not go again with pencil on the paper because that is not dry enough. You take some brown from the pencil and start again. Otherwise you make the paper, yeah, you tear it apart. I don't know how to call that. You get little bubbles. So I want to have a little bit darker, both sides. Have a look what I have here. I have some pastel. This is from Jane Davenport, but I have also the big palm pastels, but this one is small and I use them with in a life because I have no space for the big tree of palm pastels. So I take a brown one and I'm going to go over the, I hope it's dry enough. So you can work with so much different stuff, and I say always if I'm playing with Lavinia I cannot stop because I see always new things. This I did not do yesterday. I saw it now and I thought, oh, maybe I must give it more. So and then I do it here also. So at the outside. Oh, and on the bottom I didn't wash it out, I see. I only so. And that is now too wet for the pastels. So I wait a little bit. Then I smudge a little bit with my finger here. So I must do that later. Now, what I'm going to do, I have here General Moonlight. How do you call it in English? It fluorescent. It gives fluor. And I start this side, that's better. Give the flowers a color of that orange. Always let a little bit of the dark that you see that. So I don't make them completely orange. I think I'm going to zoom it a little bit so you can see it better. Is that enough? No, maybe. So. You can also do this with Posca pens. I do that later. But I would love to show you different ways to use things. But do not think, oh no, I don't have the Jelly Roll fluor pens, so I cannot make that. Now you can also use the Posca pens or other gel pens. I do it here the same. When I'm busy, I'm a little bit, I don't think that I must say something. I'm concentrated so on my work. Now I'm finding the only orange a little bit more. I want more color. So now I take a red Posca and I make my own flowers. I start this side because that is dry. So here and there I put a red flower in between. Another one here. Then I do that on this side also. I have stems from another brand with small flowers, but I don't want to use them here now because I said only Lavinia. So I have also small grasses. I let it dry. And I told you, but first I must make this one ready. I just told you that I must make small grasses, so do this one first and then I take my Zig Clean color green and I make little grass here and there. Boat. So, here I did it also. Yes, and then did I do it? No, I did not, but I think I do it here also. A little bit. Did that not with my first card, but I think it looks great. Yes, maybe in between also. That's why I like the Lavinia. I had not one Lavinia stamp a half year ago. I always said no, I don't buy them, And now I have so many, I'm totally in love with them. Now I have a white Posca, and I set white drops in the flowers, so they have a middle point. Don't know if I say that correct, but they look more like flowers now. You see the difference between this one and this one? I'm sorry, but I feel a little bit silly talking to a screen where no one is. So, and now I'm going to first do the highlights on the fairies and on the hares. I need my brush, I need a clean kitchen towel, and I'm going to start off, and I take a small line. Just need more water. And I'll make a little shade. If you think, oh no, that is too tricky for me, don't be afraid. If I make too much white, I can always use my permanent black liners to make it black again. So don't worry, don't be afraid. We must be really fast because it's drying really fast, and with this weather it's going really fast. Now I took 2 dots here, so at the wings. Now I go on this side, and the small fairies are the most difficult because they have, the lines are too, most of the time, too heavy for them. So. See, now my Posca doesn't work anymore. That is because I'm going too fast on that. Not dry ink. It looks dry at the eye, but it is not dry enough for the Posca. Then I do 2 dots here at the wings. Then I'm going to the fairy, and I do all the dots on the, how do you call it, swirls, hairy swirls, and swirls on the wings. Yes. And now I'm going to also give her some shade. You see immediately this is a bigger part, so a bigger fairy. That's more easier to make the shade correct. Don't know how late it is, but I think we're almost at the hour, and it's not a problem that I'm going to take more time. Only Facebook Because sometimes if you do more than an hour live, they throw you out. And that is not what I'm like. Now the hares. So. You can also do this with a pencil, only a pencil is not as wide as a Sharpie. But as you think, of as a Posca. But as you think, oh no, that's not for me, I don't dare to do that, take a pencil. Now the other one. I must give them a little bit. So. And everyone likes to get some cards with a landscape with fairies and animals. So now I do that at the flower here, and I also wash it a little bit out. Don't want to have the hard lines. So, and now at last I did some white dots here and there. Also at the bottom here. Then the white I need a little bit later. Then I have also an orange one and a yellow Posca. And I also do some orange dots. Don't think, just do. Then the yellow one. Now, I must look what I did with this card. Oh, they are very the same. I don't know how you call that. Snowy stars? No, twinkling stars I call them. I make them with white pastel. And now I must look at my white brush. Here you can also use other pastels. I make white dots. here and there. I think it's nice to have it around the fairy also. I used to do this with a Posca pen. I dotted one and then I did it with my fingers, but that was not the great thing to do for me, because it was always a mess. And at last, ruin my thing is not a nice thing. So I thought this must be different. No. Then I do a little bit with my finger. So. Done them all, yes. And now I take my Posca again and I make a white dot in the middle, and immediately I take it off. I have a lot of dots on my finger at the end, but if you do it so, you let it so, then the dots are too, yeah, how do you say that? Too much invisible. I hope you do understand it. So. Have I done all the dots yet? Yes. Now, what did I do? See, all the dots here. At last I did with my vintage photo, this red vintage photo, I made the edges a little bit darker. You see immediately what I mean with the edges a little bit darker. Gives us still a more finished look. Maybe at the corners a little bit more. So you see. Now I can throw this away, and I have prepared my card, so I can glue it all together. I take it a little bit to me because I don't see if isn't it correct? Yes. Then the orange one. So, and then the white card, and then I think you have a beautiful card to send to someone. So, my pin in the glue. And I think I have now 2 beautiful cards. I hope you liked it. I thank you for watching, and maybe I come back. If I get more viewers, I come back. Otherwise, I don't know. But I think there was going something wrong with the live. I don't know what, but I'm going to find out. Going to find it out, and hope to see you next time. So I say bye bye.